Hi guys, so today it is going to be snowflakes. So these are some I was playing with. As you can see, they're on tips. So what I do is, like when you get the bags and you have those random sizes you don't ever use, I have a drawer full of them. So on the rare times I practice the design before I show you them, this is what I practice on. So I have some more intricate ones to some slightly more simple ones, and I just thought I would go over a few of the designs with you and finally get into the Christmas spirit. Let me roll my sleeves up because the snowflakes are everywhere at the moment, and even though I'm not feeling particularly Christmassy at the minute, I figured it is a good time to get into the snowflake designs at least, because then it gives you time to practice beforehand, and a little bit of practice never hurt anybody. Okay, so I am going to go in with this one. This isn't one of Nailmate's Humour-Free ones, but it is a beautiful blue, which seems to be very, very in this time of year. So I'm going to put a coat or two of this on, and then I'm going to top coat because I will be using tack-free gel paint to do my snowflakes, because I just find it stays where I put it and it doesn't run. If you are using gel polish because you don't currently have art paints, that is fine. So you could do this and then still top coat, and then you'll just need to top coat again afterwards, or you can just wipe off your inhibition layer after curing, so you don't have that extra bit of gel on there that can make it move. The only difference will be if you are using gel paint, it will not move. It doesn't really self-level, it stays put. But if you are one of the ones using gel polish, you may have to flash cure some steps as you go to prevent the gel leveling and running into each other, which will give you blurry lines and like splodges. Some of my early work were very much more like pattern splodges than actual snowflakes, and snowflakes definitely still aren't my forte. I will openly admit that most years I use a stamper because you get some really, really good snowflake stamps out there. So I will cure this, I will second coat, and I will top coat, and I'll be back with you. So while I'm disappearing, do your base coats and top coat if need be, or wipe off and get ready. So while my top coat is curing, I have my gel paint on one of my little pads. As usual, I am using my TJP one, and I'm using my tiny brush. So this is my Dorota Pelica brush, and this is the D liner. So this is like super skinny, and it is one of my favorites for the lines. So just to make sure it's loaded up, you want to pull through the product and twist, and that maintains your point. And if you look, oops, excuse me, by doing it that way, look, the gel paint has stayed where it is. It hasn't beaded up and moved along the brush either. And a tip I was recently given actually helped, and that was within regards to patterns like this. So sometimes you end up with thick lines when you're dragging, and the tip I was given was to basically remove between each line all of the gel off of your brush and just use the point, and then you don't collect gel as you are going, which I thought was a very, very interesting tip. So with regards to the snowflakes, I am using this one. So I have one that's a really teeny tiny end, or one that's kind of like a little pointy end, and these are a metal set that I got from Temu recently. Well, not recently, a while back. So I will start with this one, which is one of the more well-known Christmas designs. And we will go from easier to harder. I have been practicing a few other designs, but I haven't put them all on this video. So I'm just going to take my gel paint on my gel polish and dot my dots. So I'm going to do 3 up and then count in the middle one as 1, 3 down. And we'll go out to the side. Now, I am doing these fairly big and on fairly big size nails for that matter as well. I haven't practiced them doing smaller. I think the smallest one I did was that more complicated one. And then we're gonna, so we've done 12, 3, 6, and 9. So now we're gonna do 2, 4, 2, 4, 8, and 10. 2 dots also. I have been seeing on Instagram people have managed teeny tiny, really intricate snowflake patterns. I am going to practice those and see if I can pull it off and share it with you, but at the moment my skill level is not there because snowflakes are not my forte. So I'm just twizzling my brush, if you can see that off the screen again, pulling and making sure it's loaded, and then pointing my brush. And I'm just going to brush some of that off onto an empty part, and then we're pulling through. And you can wipe off your gel in between. Now, after doing these, you can cure, or you could sprinkle glitter or sprinkle acrylic or shimmery stuff to give you that sparkly finish. Because this is the first design, I've kept it quite simple and quite large just to show you the beginnings. So as you can see, this would be easier to do on a smaller scale because you'd be able to shrink that down and have your dots closer together, or you could have it this big but just add more dots. So I'll cure that one, and that is your first snowflake down. Okay, so I saw this one and liked it. It doesn't have all the balls and bells and whistles, but this one I do believe could actually be made quite tiny. I actually saw this one as a chrome design and really liked it. So I'm loading up my brush in the background there, but I'm putting a little extra on it, and I'm putting a little blob on the end to pull down. So again, this one I'm doing quite big. So we're doing 12, 3, 6, and 9 again. I find it easier to think of it like a clock. It's just what works for me. So those are my biggest lines, and I'm just going to thicken those out a little. There we go. And then, so what would be in between 1 and 2, slightly smaller but still slightly big, so medium size, and back into the middle. And you're going to do that in the center of all of them. This would be a really good one chromed. It would also make quite a good firework, to be honest. And then in between them we want tinier lines. And there we go. Another nice and simple one complete. One that definitely could be shrank. Okay, 3 cheers for the special people. Because I have just spent 5 minutes going through this one with you to flash cure it because I'm clumsy, to find out I've not actually recorded it, so yay me. So I am going to talk you through it instead because I'm a bloody numbskull. So I used a dotting stick to mark the 4 corners with a dot. Let me clean off my brush and then we can go through it. Okay, so once I'd done that, I didn't cure it because I'm not a complete twit apparently. And then I did a middle dot just so I knew where to come to. So I took my dot and I very thinly dragged it down to give me my cross shape. And then I put some gel on my brush. You know the way you load it and you twist it to give you your point. But then, if you can see these here, I pulled some gel back off. So there was only the tiniest bit on the brush. Let me just wipe that off before I ruin where I've been up to. And I used that to draw the teeny tiny little spokes. Doesn't have to be 3 is just what I did. And you go around and you do that. Yeah, and then that's as far as I got before I flash cured it and realised I actually hadn't been recording. So to where we are now, I am picking up my dotting tool again. Again, it's my smaller end. And I'm just 3 dotting. Out in between. Oops, nearly. That bit there was apparently a little stringy. Right, and then I'm getting the tiniest bit of gel on my brush again, just because I want them all to connect. And I'm just connecting that first dot into the center. And there we go. So not entirely shown you, but hopefully explained. I'm going to cure this one. Okay, next up is this individual. Do you see how it catches the light? This is why I like to do matte top coats on some of my designs. So on this one, we don't have the 4 points. But what I do have is top and bottom. Oh, and a middle. So top, middle, bottom. Again, I'm doing this one fairly spread out. And then kind of diagonal. I suck at this really badly. Okay, so there we go. Somewhere between like 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I think that's about even. I really do struggle positioning my dots. That is something I'm not good with, to be perfectly honest. So again, load your brush, but remember to drag it and roll it because it gives you the point and you don't end up with a ball of gel, because snowflakes are delicate. We do not want lumpy balls. And so we go down from all the points. And remember, if you don't like your lines, you can fold up a lint-free wipe to get a corner, or use some of those little eyebrow applicators, like I'm about to, with a bit of cleanse, and you can just wipe off the gone wrong and start again. Okay, so we're at this part. Next, you can use a dotting tool, or you can use a bit of gel on your brush. It is whichever one you are comfortable with. I am going to use a dotting tool to mark it out. So, a little under your dot, you want a dot at either side of the line. Somewhat even. Now the reason I did this one big is because this is one of the ones where I never feel like I have enough room. So by making it big, I have the extra room. Those with some more skills and control may not need that extra room. Okay, and then with not an empty brush this time, but a minimal amount of gel, and you just want to hook those in to your lines. There we go. Can you see that? I'm hoping the light's not getting in the way, sorry. I think a New Year's present to myself will be another light now the cat has eaten through the other one, because the other one didn't give me as much annoyance on a shiny nail. And that is the first part. Now you can actually leave this as a snowflake design as it is in its entirety, because it is a super cute design as it is, and this is one you can shrink down. Or we can keep going and adding other little bits. So let me flash cure for 10 seconds, just to be on the safe side. And if you're using gel polish, you're probably definitely going to want to cure in between these bits. Okay, that should be enough not for me to smudge it to bugger in hell and back. Right. So for this one, I don't mind a little ball on the end of the nail. No, on the end of the brush. There we go. Because it gives me room to maneuver the gel into not quite a diamond shape, but a flicky shape. But you see, because I struggle with my spacing, so up here I have big space, down here I have like tiny space. But we all have skills we need to work on. And it always gives me something to aim for in the next year. So I can practice loads this year and then take photos, and I can look back next year and you can see how far you've come. So even if you hate nail designs you do, you should always photograph them. Even if you don't ever put them on social media, just keep them for yourself. And then them days where nothing goes right and you're questioning why you even bother doing nails, or just nail art, even if it's a hobby and not as a career choice, you can look back at those photos and be like, damn, I have come a way since that last one. Because there's a big difference. The more you practice, the better you get. Now you can leave that like that. You can add more dots and make it more elaborate. But I'm choosing to leave this one there, so that is another one finished, guys. Okay, and now we're on to this one. And please ignore my different thumbs. This nail has completely split almost all the way up to here, so I now have a very clumsy, because I'm so not left-handed, hard gel on that nail, because I cannot have it split up anymore, otherwise I'm not going to have a thumbnail. So this is the little shit that gave me the most trouble. It is a smaller pattern than the rest of them, but I struggled getting room and all sorts. It was really, yeah. I actually have tried that one multiple times. This morning was the first time I got it right. Plenty of other times it's been thrown back down on the table and I've said, that's it, no more, I'm not doing it. Sod off. But here we are, again. So this is a 6-1 as well. And like I've just said, my worst shape. Yeah, right. Let's do this sucker. So we need top, middle and bottom again. But I'm going to make it slightly bigger than last time because I struggled with my timings. Not time, you know what I mean. Okay. Yep, these aren't even again. I'm going to have to move some of these dots. So you have my admiration if you can get these bloody even, because geez Louise. Right. We're going for gold this time. I want this little sucker. It's going to do as it's told. Right. So you have these dots. Yes, you do. I've lost my place. So, load your brush again. And pull your line down to the center or as close to the center as you can get it. Now beware for snowflakes, I should have said this at the beginning, not now, you are going to need a fairly thin brush. They do not have to be expensive. There are some really good cheap ones on the market. I'm a big fan of the Bowen ones from Temu and Shein. But you can also take a slightly thicker one and separate some bristles near the top here, and you can use your cuticle nipper and you can nip them to give yourself the thinness of the brush. But beware that the thinner the brush, the harder it will be to load it with gel without it balling up. I have one I cut myself. I'm not actually sure where it is, but that one was a pain in the ass to use. Okay, so you can cure that at this point if you would like. And you want to do 2 dots either side of each stick, just underneath the original dot. And contrary to my current attempts, do try to make them even. This is because I'm using the actual point piece. Now, if you don't have a tiny enough dotting tool, but you have wooden cuticle sticks with the pointy section on, use those. If you have cocktail sticks, use those. Or if you have some of those tweezers that have the needle point on them, you know, like these ones, dip it in your gel, use that. It works. There are plenty of options. So again, twizzle your brush through your gel and then wipe some of it off on your palette so you don't have a loaded brush. And you are going to connect your little dots to your branches. You may need to keep swirling your brush through a little more gel if it comes a little dry. Just not too much gel. Now, if you are secure enough with your brush skills, You do not need to use a dotting tool. You can skip that section. Just go in with the tiny ball on the end of your brush and brush that design straight on. I am just finding it easier to map it out with the dotties. That's just personal preference for me. Some of these dots I am just going to make slightly bigger. Now, because I have stretched this one out, the final piece on this is just a dot in between each section. But you could put other things into this design. Because I've stretched it out to cover the whole nail, it actually has left room. And you can also see it a bit better. So that's the super sized version, and that's the tiny sized version I tried first. So there's a big difference. See, this one looks kind of empty now because I've spread it out, but it looks cuter when it's more compact. So remember to watch the size of when you watch the size of your designs when you're shrinking them or stretching them, that it may leave you with empty spaces, or you may not be able to fit the entire design in the nail. We have it. From Easier and Upwards, your snowflakes. So I really hope you give these a try, and I hope they turn out well. And remember, gel polish, cure in between steps as often as you need to. There's no limit on how many times you can cure. Remember to dry your brush slightly between the dragging sections to stop them clumping. And remember, you will be left with empty space if you stretch, and you may have to change elements if you shrink your designs. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope it was easy to follow along to. I'm sorry you missed part of a video because I forgot to record it. Stay tuned. I have some more coming up. I have a few really cute Christmas design ideas. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and please leave a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And in my playlist section, I have a Christmas playlist with last year's Christmas videos on. If you want to take a look at that, there's quite a few in there. Thanks, guys.